Creepy player metagames and hides stuff from a first-time DM. Leaves the campaign because it didn't revolve around him, even if he would have gotten kicked anyway due to creepy behavior towards most of the group's girls. This story has gone on for quite a while, and I am disappointed in myself for not noticing sooner. Also, potential trigger warning, mention of suicide, request of inappropriate pictures, and sexting. This tale, as the shit show that was 2020 was nearing its end. Me and some friends, all huge Ruby nerds, decided to play together in a Ruby campaign over Discord, designed and run by me. For those who ask, yes, Ruby the Grim campaign did inspire us. I was a first-time DM, and I was pretty confident in my abilities. And while I made some mistakes along the way, in the end, I created an enjoyable campaign that is still ongoing. The cast. All names are obviously changed. DM, aka Red, yours truly, a new DM, the second youngest in the group, and the one who brought it together in the first place. Anna, alongside Creep, unimportant player 1, and Kate, one of the players I knew for the longest time. She is bisexual. This will come into play later, and a core player in our story. Kate, essentially my big sister, a proud lesbian. This too will matter later. And really outspoken. She too plays a core part in the story. Mila, an absolute queen of memes and the only one in the group that had a real roleplay experience prior to the campaign. Plays a minor role in this story. Creep, our problem player, apathetic, uninvested, and almost never present. But when he was, ooh boy. There are 2 other players, but they are not important to the story, so I will omit them. They will be called unimportant player 1 and 2, if I ever mention them. The story itself. So, this tale of yore begins when I decided to reunite the greatest Ruby nerds of the land to play in a Discord campaign of my making. Of the ones called, I knew 4. Kate, Anna, Creep, and unimportant player 1. I had sporadic contact, mainly through story comments on Wattpad, with the other 2, aka unimportant player 2 and Mila. Prior to this campaign, I had assembled another, smaller group, consisting of me, Creep, Anna, and Kate, in order to write a Ruby fanfiction. In this group, I got to know these 3 quite well. After some time, Kate and Anna entered a relationship, lesbian and bi, respectively, remember? And Creep did not take that well. He had a huge crush on Anna, and he ghosted the group completely after the couple got together. He came back after a while, but he was apathetic and just shut down. He tried everything to become the center of attention, including faking being in hospital due to a non-existent health problem that could lead to his death. But that's a horror story by itself, and I won't delve into it. Just know that after this incident, Kate would stop trusting him for the rest of our time together. And they would both treat each other pretty badly, so much so that sometimes either me or Anna had to step in to calm them down. Now, back to the roleplay. Creep's character, Marin, was a wandering sharpshooter kind of character. A bit of a lone wolf. I had no problem with that. But ooh boy, his abilities he had. 1. A shit ton of gadget he did not tell me about. He had bombs, EMPs, magnets, and more. This would have been fine if he had told me. 2. Special bullets. When he told me about having them, not mentioning any of their abilities, I thought he would have used dust bullets. For those who do not know, in the Ruby universe, dust is a substance with elemental effects. Fire dust burns stuff, ice dust freezes it, etc. But nope, he had bullets that could pierce anything. Yes, anything. He described them as such. Apply heals, apply shields, buff himself, stun people, sleep them, etc. 3. Links to every character imaginable. He was drinking buddies with Branwyn, a veteran huntsman at least twice his age, knew all of Jacques Schnee, CEO of the Schnee Dust Company and capital A arseholes, dark secrets, was apprenticed by Arthur Watts, masterful scientist and hacker, presumed dead while Marin was still a child. In the ways of hacking, knew of Pietro Polendina, a colleague of Watts' Penny Project, a project to create an android with a soul, and also knew about its resulting creation, Penny Polendina's true nature as a robot, and so on. It ruined every scene I had with those characters. Did he tell me about those links? No, obviously. During roleplay, he would constantly metagame. He'd already know the name, past, and even crushes of characters he had just met. He also had really bad in-character moments, talking to Kate's swordswoman that she wasn't worth a damn while they were in the midst of a major combat, as well as trying to shoot her. I had to stop him by throwing one of the BBEGs at him, something that, while already programmed, really bummed me out as he was only planned to appear, not act. In hindsight, I could have handled it way better, but it was my first time. Please cut me some slack. I told as much to my players as well, but Creep didn't get the memo. He would constantly criticize me in the safety of the private DMs with others. Now, did he actually tell me what he thought had done wrong so I could fix it? Of course not. I should be able to instantly realize it and read his mind. Finally, he would try and hog the spotlight through some attempted heroic sacrifices, anime protagonist speeches, and even having his character threaten suicide, all in an attempt to have us focus solely on him. He was also a total D to many canon characters / NPCs, something that would result in Marin getting a huge amount of in-character hate. This whole shebang went on until after the fall of Beacon happened. This was late Volume 3, early Volume 4 of the canon storyline. The team had just gotten separated, with me DMing one story at a time every evening. Marin had decided to go with Ruby, the protagonist of the main series, group to Haven Academy. And while everyone else's story proceeded smoothly, alternating between them, Creep never showed up to Roleplay's character. He would just appear sporadically to say he wouldn't be present. That is, those very rare times he would not just ghost us. May I remind you, we played on Discord. I was beginning to consider kicking him, but, well, he quit by himself, saying he was treated badly by everyone in this group, and had no regrets about leaving it. It wasn't true at all, as, except for Kate, no one in the group had treated him as he claimed he was. It was probably because he felt he couldn't hog the spotlight anymore. And then, the bombshell. Trigger warning. Mentioning of explicit pictures and attempted sexting. After a while, I was told the truth by Kate. The reason she was so angry with Creep wasn't just because of the hospital thing. It was because Creep had asked both her and Anna to tell him how they had effed. He would also ask Mila other inappropriate questions about how she emmed, and would again harass Anna by asking her to send him pics of herself in lewd costumes. He would brag to them in private about his 23-centimeter D, and how he had a 3 with 2 other girls, with both things being obviously fake. At one point, he had sent a picture of his bare upper body to Anna, among other things. We obviously cut ties with him on the spot, and our group has been 1,000 times better since. The campaign is still going, and much funnier without him trying to hog the spotlight, or ruining every scene. In-universe, Marin has died at the hands of the Nucleave, and his death has been more important to the story than he ever was as a character. Creep, if you someday read this story, I hope you've gotten over your lewd tendencies, and if you didn't, Well, take your alleged 23 centimeter D and shove it up your butt. The title is a TLDR. This guy was certainly a grade A creep. I feel really bad for the 3 women. The player was horrible, and I'm really glad to see they cut ties with him at the end. Personally, I feel like there's not much to say because it's so bad, and I feel like the story really speaks for itself in this one. I do wish the woman would have said something earlier so they could have cut ties faster, but I do understand that it's a bit hard to do that when it could break a friendship. Unless I had other reasons that weren't disclosed in this. But just let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye!